So I'm going to talk to you about how to set up an LLC. I've set up some other kinds of companies, but an LLC is really the most simple of all types that I've come across, and it's something that I'm familiar with. And I think that as far as a coaching business, then an LLC is the way to go. Of course, I am not a legal accountant or legal tax advisor or anything like that. So everything that I teach you today is to help you grow and not as advice. So there are a lot of good reasons to having your own business. There's a lot of value in it, and I'd like to talk about some of those reasons right now. One is that you can make money quicker than any other type of program or employment out there. So it is a good path for you as far as finding a way to make a higher income. The next thing is that you can be your own boss. That means that you can choose your own hours, and your time becomes a resource to you. Instead of giving your time to someone else and to some other cause, you get to decide how you spend your own time. Another thing is that taxes. When you have a business, you can spend before you pay your taxes. And so you can buy things through your business and write them off. And if they pertain to your business, and you get to decide if it does pertain or not, but you can write off a lot of things, more than you might believe, by having your own business. Another thing that you're going to notice is that you'll have more cash flow. I noticed that when I started my first business that my bills jumped, but so did my cash flow. And once you experience that, then it's hard to go back to working for someone else. Another reason is that you get to build your business, or you get to create however you want. You get to grow in your way. And this becomes your baby, and it is very satisfying to see one of your creations work. A point that I wanted to make here is that when you own a business, that you are the owner of the business, not an employee for the business. Now, you might spend a lot of time building the business to make sure that it works, but if you have the mindset that you're just trying to create a job for yourself, then that's what you'll do. You'll create a job for yourself, and then your business doesn't necessarily become an asset to you. It becomes a liability to you. And so you want to make sure that the business that you create works for you, and that you don't work for it. So let's talk a little bit more now about branding. What does that even mean? Well, believe it or not, you have a brand already. You are who you are, you know who you know, you have a certain way about you, you have an example that you set, and that is your brand. But when it comes to a company, then there are actually three parts to branding. There's the personal part, right, which includes building credibility for yourself, what you've done, and why people should trust you to do some kind of service or provide some kind of product for them. There is who you are, what you stand for, and hopefully you've figured that out. If you haven't figured out who you are and what you stand for, then I would suggest another exercise that I'm not going to share in this particular video. But there is an exercise that can help you determine that. Your company, that's the next part. The company name, the company purpose, and the company one-liner, which is a lesson that I teach in another spot. But what is it that you help people do? And then there's the offer that you have. Your offer could include services, the services that you're going to provide, or products that you're going to provide, programs. If you're a coach, then you'll probably have some programs that you'll you'll invite people to participate in. And you might even have like a one-on-one mentoring uh, as part of your offering. And so becoming clear about who you are and where you're trying to go and what you're trying to offer becomes very important when you're setting up a business. Let's dive a little deeper into that. So your company is not your program. So you might offer different programs within your company, but it is not the program itself. So don't get too niched with your company name and description, because your company is going to offer different kinds of services and products all under one roof. So as a coach, you might offer group courses and online courses and events and different types of solutions to different kinds of people. You're going to have a variety of products that will fall underneath the roof of your company, under your company name. So let's talk about how to set up your company and start the creation process. Here are some action steps that I'll dive deeper into in some coming slides. So first off, choose a name for your company. Do an internet search to see if someone already has that name that's in your space. You don't want to be copycatting somebody. Choose an entity type. In this case, I'm suggesting an LLC. Check the name availability in your state's corporate commission. I'll show you how to do that. Secure the name or form the entity on your state's website, and then purchase that domain name. Make sure that that domain name is not taken already by somebody else, so that if you decide to build a website, that you can. When you start a new company, it's a lot like giving birth to something completely independent and dependent upon you. It's this new entity that takes on a life of its own. So when you choose a name for it, you want to choose a name that is generic but descriptive. You want to choose something that has to do with your ocean market choice. And your ocean market is like something to do in health or wealth or time management or relationships or finding purpose. And that will help you to find a name that works for you. You want to use names that aren't too long, like maybe 1 to 3 words in the description of your company. And you can incorporate your name and use things like, John Doe Wealth Management or Phil Warner Time Solutions. You get to choose. It is a popular way that people name their companies. You also want it to be easy to remember. Maybe it could form an acronym, like Master Group Mentoring. That's the name of this program, and it comes out MGM. And if you look down at the bottom, you can see the logo there of Master Group Mentoring down there at the bottom. And it will help you build your logos and stuff. Okay, so here's a little exercise that you can do to kind of help you if you feel like you're kind of getting stuck on the name. One thing that I want to emphasize here is that it's really not that important what your name of your company is. Even if you were to make a tragic mistake after you get it all set up, then setting up a new company is not that hard. So here's some things that you can do. Make a list of 5 to 10 names that you like, and then take those names and ponder them for a day. Take a break, go outside, distract yourself, and let those names just kind of bounce around inside of your brain. Choose 1 or 2 that stand out, and then ask for opinions. Talk to your friends and your family and pray to God about it, or post a little post on social media and get people's opinions about the name of your company. Then make a choice, and then don't second guess it. Just move forward, make your name choice. Like I said before, new companies are easy enough to set up should you decide to change your mind. Choosing a domain name. This might have an impact on the name that you choose for your company. And so I would suggest that you do a domain name search. So go to the internet and type in the name that you have chosen and look to see if somebody else is already in that space in your field. It might be a name that's already been taken, but it's really not in your same field, and that'd be okay to use that name. But you want to stay away from companies that have already been established in your particular market. So if you're planning to have a website that's the same as your entity name, then now is a good time to go and purchase that domain name. Another thing to do is to wait until you've checked the name availability through your state's website, which I'll show you in a minute, before you purchase that domain name. Right now, I don't want you to worry about putting together a website. That's something that would come down in the future anyway, and that could be something that would sabotage you if you started thinking about all these things that you have to do. So don't worry about that right now. And then you want to go ahead and purchase that domain name, and I can show you how to do that. So I would go to GoDaddy, and I would type in your name. Here's one that I did, Strong Enough. That was a company that I put together. Maybe you've seen that on my Facebook stuff. You could put it in there, and you could do a search on it, and it will tell you what's available. And you can see that down here, Strong Enough is not available. It gives you some options. And that's a good idea that GoDaddy does that, because it might actually help you to modify your name just a little bit so that you are unique and can be found. So if you're looking at this, you're going to see, well, actually Strong Enough is available, and it's $5,000. I didn't want to pay $5,000 for Strong Enough, so I just took strong_enough, and I typed that into the search bar, and it came back as like a $15 a year domain, and I purchased it. So there are ways around it if you decide that it's a good name and you don't want to pay a ton of money for it. You can find other ways to do it. There are a lot of different kinds of domains, but I would for sure do something that has .com or .net, at least on the back side of it. Once again, if somebody already has it and you have something similar to it, then people are going to get really confused about who you are and what you're trying to do, and you might even, if you're in their space, then you might get a letter from them telling you to get out of their space. So, things to think about. So there are different kinds of entities. There are, corporations and nonprofit corporations and limited liability companies, LLCs. That's what we're talking about here, creating. There's S corps and C corps and 501c3 corps, and all of these are just different tax classifications. And so, look, I am going to tell you right now that like I said before, I am not a legal attorney or accountant or anything like that, and I can't tell you what's best for you. So I have set up a lot of LLCs, and so I know how to do that. I own several of them, and I think they're easy to maintain. The taxes are easy for me, and I can do it without hiring somebody, which is really important to me. And I'll get into more details in just a moment, because the only time this even becomes important when you're setting up this company is when you fill out the form. Okay, now we're going to get into actually doing this. Now we're going to go to our state's website, because each state has a website where you can go and you can do a name search to see if somebody already has that business, already has that name, I should say. And so just because one state has that name doesn't mean that your state will have that name. And so you can go on to the state website and do a search for that. So I have a link right here. We'll see how that works. So you put right here, you put in a name right here. I'm going to type in Joe's Wonderland, search for it, and it looks like, hey, check, it does exist. I might type in something else, Hammer Time LLC, and you can see right here that there, some active. There's Hammer Time Apparel, Hammer Time LLC. That's my company right there in Provo. And you can see that that's taken. So you want to find a name that hasn't been taken, right? Different states have different websites. This is the one for Arizona. I don't know what state you're in, but I'm sure that your state has a place where you can go and do an entity search to see if somebody already has the name that you're thinking of. If the name already exists, then choose a new name. Throw that one away and change the new name. If there's something similar to it, you don't want to confuse people, so I would change it quite a bit. So once you get a name and you do a search and it appears available, then you want to secure that name on this website, which is done right here. This is corporations.utah.gov online underscore business underscore registration.html. Right here, you can see the name of this right here, and so you click on this one-stop business registration right here, and it's going to give you some information. Over here, I have a like an account already, and it's going to ask me to log in, or I can create a new account right here. So that's so you can be tracked. You're going to enter your new account in there. Your username and your password. You're going to fill in your name and your email address. And then you're gonna log into place, and it's gonna say add a new business, and you're gonna register a new business, and you're gonna go through their questions and fill it out. And you can see right here that you're gonna be doing a new business. I'm in Utah, so this is the way their website works. Now, if you're in a different state, their website might work completely different for you, but it's going to be similar to this, but there's going to be a way that you can go and register your business. It's going to ask you things like, like am I doing a new business? And it's going to ask you all these things. Is this an existing business, or are you trying to register this as an investment or trust? You go down through there. And most of these answers are going to be no. When it asks for if you're going to have employees, just say no right now. Now you're going to get to a place where it says register your business. Please complete the following steps. Once you have completed these steps, so you just keep moving forward and finish filling out all of these forms. One of the questions it's going to ask you is, do you have a federal employment identification number, which is an FEIN number with the IRS? And are you going to be selling anything? Do you need a sales tax number? At this point, you don't have any employees, you don't have anything that you're selling, but you will need a federal employment identification number, an FEIN number, in order to finish setting up your business. So you can click on that you don't have it, and I'm going to show you next how to go and get your federal identification number so that you can finish filling out this form. This form will let you pause and go back, and it will have you finish filling out the steps as you're ready. So go ahead and stop wherever you are if you get stuck there, and then finish providing the documents that it needs. So if you get stuck here, one of the best things to do is just to RTP, means read the page. If you are registering and you can't seem to figure it all out, don't just jump on the phone with me and call me. Like, read through it. I think that you'll probably figure this out because a lot of people go to these websites and they've never done it before, and so they're really user friendly. One thing that really helps too is to, wherever you're stuck, go onto YouTube and ask the question or type in the question bar, how do I, dot, dot, dot. And there's usually someone who can give you a really quick tutorial about getting through your particular state's website in registering your business. Now let's talk about the IRS. Dun, dun, dun. Don't worry. So every company is like a child, and it needs to have an identification code. Like you have a social security number, your company has an EIN number. And the IRS makes it really easy to register your company. And there are thousands of companies that get registered every year, probably hundreds a day. I don't know how many, but it's not really that hard to go to the IRS and get your EIN number. So once you've chosen your company name and you've registered it with the state, then you're ready to go get your tax identification number. Don't do it before then, because you're gonna get hung up right here. Get through the process with your state, get to the point where it says you need a tax identification number, and then go to the IRS, or at least make sure that your name is secured with the state before you go to the IRS to get an EIN number for it. Otherwise, you might get a number for something that doesn't exist, and when the IRS does a little search on it, then it's going to come back as no, you can't get your number because somebody already has your name. Here's the link to go to the IRS website. It's the same in all states. One thing I want to bring to your attention here is that there are a lot of companies out there that will, you'll search for IRS registration or EIN number on the internet, and there are a lot of poser companies out there. Like, people will take your money to do something that's really easy to do. Don't be fooled by them. Go straight to the IRS. Go straight to this link that I have right here. I know you're watching a video here, but pause the video, write this down, go straight to the IRS. Don't go to some third-party thing. This is pretty easy. You're here. You click on that. You want to apply now. It's got some really easy instructions to follow through. You want to apply now. You're going to begin your application here, and this is where you're going to choose what kind of company that you want. Is it an LLC? Is it a corporation? I think LLCs are the easiest, so I do LLCs. And it gives you some rules about them and how they're taxed. It's going to ask you what state you're in, how many members. I would say one, so you don't have to provide a bunch of information right now. You can always change that later, but I would just say one person, and it's in Utah. In this case, it's in Utah. I don't know where you're from, but that would be your state. Anyway, just go through this form again and remember what I talked about. Just read the page. It's really not that hard. And when you're done, then they're going to send you a little email saying, hey, we're just reviewing this to make sure that your name is okay and everything. And then you usually get an email like really quick within a day, giving you your EIN number. Now it might ask for articles of incorporation. You don't have any of those right now, and so they'll just create those themselves as you finish the process. Either the state does it or the IRS does it. I think the state does it. Don't worry about the articles of incorporation right now. That's just the rules inside of your company, how that's going to run, and they just have a standard form. So just move forward. If you get stuck somewhere, like I said, go onto YouTube and type that in, and you should get yourself unstuck pretty quick. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about moving forward because it's really easy to get sabotaged. Some things, like if you're building a company, some things they're just not worth worrying about right now. If this is a new company, like right now, as you're, trying to build this new company of yours, then don't worry about how it's gonna, like how you're gonna pay taxes on it, or what employees you're gonna have, or your overall function, how the whole thing's gonna work, right? I don't need to worry about the articles of incorporation or how that's going to be managed or anything. Just get the company built, get your name, so that it's something real, right? And then move forward. Don't worry about like finding clients at this time. Don't worry about making a website or funnel pages or creating some kind of a contact management software. Don't worry about building content for your programs or contracts and procedures or what programs you're going to offer. Like there's a lot of stuff here to think about, but don't worry about that stuff until you get your company set up. You can move forward and get that done. It's going to be a great asset for you, and all this other stuff will come in its time, later. So let me show you some things that you should do though at this time. As soon as you get your company going, let's talk about that. So let's talk about what you can do as soon as you get your name. One of the things that it would be a good thing to work on would be to create a logo, or to choose a logo to go with your company. And there's different ways to do that. You can design your own logo using PowerPoint or Photoshop. You can search for pictures of things on the internet, and you can just put wording over the top. That's a really cheap way to do it. I do that with some of my programs. If you look down here, at the bottom, you can see the logo that we have for Master Group Mentoring down here, and we had that done for us. And you'd think, well, what's that going to take, to have a professional logo done for you? But it's really not that expensive. I think I paid, I don't know, like $25 or something for this logo. There's a lot of companies, even out of the country, that will take your ideas and they will just come up with a bunch of different ideas for you. Once you get your name figured out and kind of the direction that you want to go with your company, they'll have you answer some questions and they'll just start building your logo. One of these is freelogoservices.com. It is, you can make a logo right here. Like, they're really easy. They look pretty good. You'd be surprised what they can come up with, or what you can come up with when you just take a few minutes and start, typing in a few words on a free logo, on a logo making service. So there's a lot of places that you can go to get a logo made pretty cheap, and there's some that are just better companies than others. This one right here, 99 Designs, they did my logo. Let's see if we make that go there. They built my Strong Enough logo. They did a really good job. They contract with designers all around the world, and they're very professional to work with, but they're a little more expensive. You can just do like an internet search, and just do, type in here and just say, design my logo, or logo designer or something like that, and there's going to be like all kinds of options here for you. But for $50 or for under $50, you can get a really decent logo for your company. So one of the things I really want to turn you on to here is Google. As soon as you get your name figured out, then it'd be a really good idea to get a Gmail account. Why? Because it comes with a lot of tools like Drive and Sheets, and you can do like presentations and create forms. It is amazing. You don't even need to have a website, because what you can do is host your things, your presentations, your videos, everything can be hosted on your Google Drive. And all you need to do is take the link and give it to people. And you can put that link in emails, you can put it on Facebook, and you can share just about any document that you have through Google. I'm going to show you here a little bit about forms, because forms is something that I discovered earlier this year, and it's a super powerful tool to help you create like homework assignments or sign up sheets and all kinds of stuff. So I have here, you're seeing the back side of where I host lots and lots of things regarding this course. And all I got to do is like right click on them, and then I can go and I can share it, and I can just copy this link up here like that, and I can just paste it wherever I want, and then they can get it right out of my drive. I don't need to put it on a website or anything like that. One of my favorite features in Google is Google Forms, because with Google Forms you can create homework, you can create sign-up sheets, it'll track all of your homework, you can do quizzes. It's really a powerful tool inside of Google. Needless to say, Google can be a very good tool for you to have as you start a new business. So another thing you can do as soon as you get your EIN number is you can figure out a way to take payments. And you're going to want to use that EIN number so that you can keep your business separate from your personal stuff. In any case, what if you don't? What if you don't have this set up? You can still take payments via Venmo. You can take payments through Square. Square is a free service. All you need to do is have an email. PayPal is an easy way to take payments, and it's easy to set up. You can go to your credit union or your bank, and you can set up an account with your new EIN number, a business account, so that you can take payments that way. And then there are a lot of other online resources that are available. So I hope you've enjoyed this how to set up an LLC. I hope it was informative. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me and let me help you.